5-Round MMA.
A different view to MMA.
Gotta watch that
Welcome, everyone.
5-round
We're super
MMA, y'all.
excited to have our next guest on the show, Jacoby Ortiz. How's it going, Jacoby?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good, man. So you got a fight coming up March 31st, Southwest Brawl 7 for the American Fight League in New Mexico. How's the training camp coming, man?
Training's on point, man. You know, I'm in good shape. Been working a lot on my cardio, a lot on my wrestling. You know, make sure I'm in wrestling shape so I can push those takedowns, 3 rounds. I'm on point right now.
So yeah, you're one of the featured bouts on this card here. So I want to ask you, with a couple weeks out now, how do you approach your everyday training? Do you go hard? Do you go a little easier? So you go in 100%. What's your physical game plan for training this close out to the fight?
This close to the fight?
Yeah.
I just start picking up my jogging. Start putting a lot of road work in. Start hitting the bag. You know, a lot of consistency for hours. So it's a little bit of both, I guess. You know, I'm doing a lot of sprint work too, a lot of explosions, a lot of plyometrics. So I guess it's a little bit of mix of everything. You know, I'm not just focusing on just one aspect of my training. I'm doing a little bit of everything.
And then
I take the weights out a little bit, so I don't get too bulky. I need to start getting my weight down. I'm probably about 15 pounds over right now, but that's typical for me to be over that much about 2 weeks out.
That's good. So a lot of the popular fighters out there, I guess you can say, most of them are trained in the West Coast or in the East Coast, and you don't really hear so much other than obviously the biggest MMA training facility, which is Jackson Winklejohn. How is the MMA scene over there in the Southwest area?
Oh, it's big, man. Arizona's a hotspot for fighters, just as big as New Mexico. We have Power MMA, which we've changed facilities recently, and I'm not training with them, but I was with them prior about 3 years. And at that gym, you have guys like Ryan Bader, CB Dalloway, Darian Caldwell, probably about 10 UFC fighters and about 5 Bellator fighters are training all the same team. They kind of split up now that they went to a smaller facility, and I actually moved out to Tucson, but I was there with them for about 3 years. And it's a lot of big names at that gym. You have another gym, Arizona Combat Sports, which is another hot spot for a lot of UFC fighters, and then the Lab, which has several UFC fighters. So there's 3 main gyms in Phoenix with a lot of talent there. The Tucson scene, that's where I'm at right now. I wouldn't say as much technical fighters out here, but we have a lot of tough guys out here.
Yeah, it seems like the weather out there in the desert kind of it breeds a certain type of animal, huh?
It definitely does, yeah. The weather's 3 months out of the year, it's hot, man.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really nice, and you can work out all year.
That's a great thing, man. I mean, looking at your record, you've been in this game for a long time, over a 10-year veteran. Like you said, you kind of know your body already. Mentally, how do you approach it now? Do you remember when you first started, training professionally to you are now, and can you see a difference in your mental preparation for fights?
Mental preparation. When I was young, I was more, testosterone and hitting the weights and eating meat. And now that I'm getting older, mentally, I'm real technical now. I like to think, how can I maneuver? How can I beat him in every position? So in that element, mentally, I like to focus a lot on that when I'm practicing, and just focus on. I guess it's working on my skill level a lot mentally, you know. So when I'm prepared and I'm comfortable in every position. When I get taken down on my back, I didn't used to like to be on my back because I was a wrestler. And now that I'm comfortable, now that I've been practicing jiu-jitsu for a long time, I'm pretty well rounded now. I would say my strengths are wrestling and boxing, but my submission game's strong.
Yeah, without giving away too much of your game plan here, you're scheduled to face Randy McCarty at the Southwest Brawl 7. What do you know about him? And then what's kind of your just overall game plan to come out the W on this fight?
I know he's like an older fighter, but he looks like he's in pretty good shape, and he looks like he's taking it pretty serious. His record on SureDog is 8-8. I don't know, it seems like a journeyman record, but you never take them lightly. He's obviously a veteran, so he put his time in the game, and You just got to treat them as any other good fighter. You know, I fought some of the best names in the world, some big names in Russia. Fought Douglas Lima, the Bellator champion.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at this. I'm going to take it just like I'm fighting back in Bellator.
Yeah, that's almost the approach you have to take. I mean, because like they say about this sport is anybody can win on any given night. It just takes one punch, and it's, you have the right mindset, especially seeing like you're a more mature fighter. You've been in it for a long time. I'm sure you've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen. That you've seen guys who are supposed to kill somebody and they get killed, type of thing here. So I want to go talk about your training camp a little bit. How are they preparing you for this fight coming up?
It's a little bit different. You know, I'm focusing a lot on my technique and cardio right now. Sparring wise, I've been working with on my wrestling. You know, I haven't really been working on my striking. We spar every day, but I'm not at a typical fighter's gym right now. You know, so I bounce around a lot from gym to gym, trying to get my sparring in and my wrestling in. So I guess it's a little bit different than I used to be. I used to be when I was at Power. We had all the good partners there, the good training facility, and all the good coaches all under one roof. Now it's like under one roof. I don't have all the good sparring partners, so I have to bounce around gym to gym, in order to get my competitive training in, sparring wise.
Yeah, it seems like some fighters do like that. Some fighters don't really, they would prefer to be like a nomad and go to gym and kind of pick up what they can there and kind of move on instead of kind of having home base and having fighters come to them. Do you prefer like having a home gym and having fighters come to you, or do you like that nomad approach where you kind of go to gym and what you can learn there?
I prefer to have all the fighters under one roof in one gym at a big name, strong gym with good fighters every day. Because when you start training with competitive people, it makes you more competitive. If somebody's beating you at practice, that's when you get better. But if I go to the gym and I'm beating guys up, I don't get any better. I get worse. I actually start training at a slower speed and starting to adapt to them versus being with some good guys from the UFC and them beating up on you. And so you have to sharpen your game up daily.
No, that makes total sense.
And so, it helps to have everybody under one roof on a daily basis, for sure.
So let's switch gears about the American Fight League. This is a promotion out of New Mexico. I mean, like we kind of touch upon, it is a hotbed for mixed martial arts. It has been for years. Is this your first time fighting with them?
For American Fight League, yes.
Yeah.
First time.
So they seem like they're pretty on. They got a lot of stuff coming up here. What's your interaction so far with the organization? And can you tell us a little more about it, what you know?
Well, the organization, I don't know too much about the organization, other than, they've been traveling around a little bit, and this is their 8th fight now, 7th or 8th fight?
Mm.
Yeah. As closer it gets to the fight, I'm going to start learning more about them and see what kind of show they put on. From what I've heard, it's a pretty good show.
That's cool, man. And also kind of fighting in your regions must be kind of nice, right? You'd be home kind of early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's always nice to be close to home.
Yeah, like you said, you fought all over the world, man. Look at your record here. Like you said, you fought some of the best in the world all over the planet. Real quick before we let you go, man, you got any sponsors you want to give a shout out to for this fight? And where can people follow you on social media as well?
Yeah, man, nothing right now, man. I don't got no shout outs for right now.
Where can people follow you on social media if they want to kind of follow your career and see how you do on this fight?
You can follow Facebook at Kobe Ortiz, Instagram, Kobe the Stunna, Twitter, Kobe the Stunna, KOBETHE, Stunna, STUNNA. Just look me up. You'll find a lot of stuff on social media. Awesome,
brother. Hey, real quick, how'd you get that nickname? That's a pretty legit nickname, the Stunna, Kobe the Stunna.
It started when I was young, when I used to wrestle a lot. I'd play around when I would do stuff at practice, joking around, calling myself the Stunna. And then when I started winning matches kind of crazy and sporadically, people would say, "Oh, the Stunna, stunning," They kind of I started using it to be making fun of myself.
Yeah.
And it ended up kind of sticking with me when I actually started stunning people.
That's awesome, man. Hey, man, best of luck to you on the 31st, man. We'll have you on again for your next fight, brother. Thanks a lot, man, for taking the time to speak to us. Really do appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in.